Okay, for those of you that would like to go the pencil and paper route instead of creating your design on your iPad, what you are going to do is you're going to get one of the scratch pieces of paper from the red Art Explorations bin, and you are going to fold it once in half going vertically, and then fold it in half once in half horizontally. What that does is it finds your center point between your X and Y axis. Now I'm going to show you a few different options for different ways to create your different shapes. Remember, you want to create a symmetrical shape that has at least 6 concentric outlines. You can have more, but you want at least 6 for your design. So there are some examples of some ideas that have been done previously. So if you would like to go with a circle, this is a safety compass that I have available for you. It's over in the clear plastic drawer marked scissors. There's a pencil box in there that has all the safety compasses. And what you're going to do for a small circle, you're going to pick one of the holes in the clear plastic. For a larger circle, you're going to pick one of the holes in the orange plastic. You want to line up the gold circle on your center point between your two folds. So I picked a circle. I'm going to go ahead and start by spinning. You'll notice that sometimes it catches. If that happens, just spin it back and forth till you get your circle started. So there's my first circle. Again, I line that back up in the center on the gold. This time I'm going to pick a different hole. This one is on the orange, so I can get a bigger circle, and I spin it around. You will need your pencil to be sharp in order to use the compass. And I take a look, okay? And I want to make sure that this isn't too narrow. This would be about as small a gap as you would want between your shapes, because if you go too much smaller, it's going to be very difficult to paint. So then I go ahead and I pick my next opening, next circle that I want for my size, and I go ahead and I spin it around, and I pick my next one. Whoops. And your paper might tear, and that's okay. This is just a template that we're going to be tracing onto our final papers. I skip a few more. And then I need to add one more circle, so it's okay if it goes off the edges of your paper. And I have one more down here to add. All right. So now if I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces, so I have plenty of circles to do for my template. So the next step would then be to trace my outlines in Sharpie. Now, if you want to do something else for your design, there are a couple of other options. Remember, you start by folding it either direction. Another option is to start with a plastic stencil to get your first shape. On the counter, I do have some different plastic stencils. Make sure you don't go too small. This shape would be too small. And you're going to line up the shape on your fold so that the center falls in the center of the shape. And I'm going to go ahead and trace my starting shape. Now I want to create my outlines that go around it, and I want to try and keep my spacing even. So I've cut these poster board guides for you. And what you're going to do is, I'm right-handed, so I line up the left side of the guide with the edge of my shape, and I go ahead and I draw a line on the right side edge. Then I turn my paper, line it up here, draw a line, I rotate it again, I draw a line, I rotate it again. Oops. And you'll see that I now have another diamond. This time it has some lines sticking out, so I'm going to take a moment, clean up the edges so I get rid of any extra lines. Then I'm going to repeat the process. So I place my paper down, and I line it back up, and I rotate it. Again, I get rid of any extra lines, and I do this process again. So each time I'm placing it down on the largest diamond that I've created. And then I get rid of my extra lines, and I repeat the process again. Remember, you want to fill as much negative space as possible with your design. We don't want to have any big empty gaps in our design. So now I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just need one more line in each of my corners. And then I would go ahead and trace this in Sharpie. For your final option, you could choose to freehand draw something. So if I wanted to create an organic symmetrical shape, or maybe I want to use the letter of my name, so maybe I want to draw a block letter A, I would make sure that it's falling on that line of symmetry, vertical symmetry, and I would do my best to try and make this perfectly symmetrical. Okay, then around this shape, I could use my orange piece or my ruler, and then I can add my outlines this way. Now, if you have something that's a little bit more organic, you might just have to freehand it. So if I wanted this shape for my design, I would just try and keep each line that I drew around it the same distance apart all the way around my original shape. And then I would start my next line, and I'm trying to keep it the same distance apart all the way around my shape. So that is the demonstration on how to create your geometric or organic symmetrical form that has at least 6 outlines that you will be using for your next project.